All right, welcome everybody. This is Thorm with the Game Design Lexicon. Today we are going to be playing more Fool's Errand. It's mine. And hope everybody's having a good day today. What is it? 2 days after New Year, or 1 day after New Year, that is. We are probably going to need some musica. Give me a sec. Let me get that going here. Let's see. So more Fool's Errand today for the Commodore Amiga. We are making headway in it. Let's see. Open recent. How about that? There we go. And wait until that goes on and boink. So, there we go. How about some synthwave today? Some lo-fi synthwave. So, a little bit of an update on this game. So, one of the puzzles that I was having a problem doing, one of them that you have to press buttons in a specific order, I went ahead and looked up. And oddly enough, there are decent online... what am I doing? Oh, god dang it. I just friggin' killed my engine here. So there are actually decent online resources for this game, which I'm flabbergasted. That's just awesome. It's freaking awesome. And of course they have hints on how to do every puzzle, really. So I went ahead and looked up this one. So here we are. Here's where I saved it last time. Now, we have almost all of them done in 1. Still working a lot on 2. About halfway done with 3. A little less than half on 4. And we got almost everything on 5. A few more that we need to go. So, let's go back to 1 here. Now, this is the one puzzle that I was talking about, the fighting boys, right? Nearby group of 5 boys were fighting with slender hickory staffs. The bad yam one, right? So, these are the way that these are supposed to work, right? So, we have 5 buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me write those down. And each of these buttons does a certain thing to the puzzle. It's just not really evident that it does. And of course, they could explain it a lot better. So, we begin off with a W. If we hit 1... we notice that it doesn't do anything, and I'm not really sure why it didn't. Oh, wait a second. I know why. So then we hit 2. Now 2, and we'll write this down. Insert in at start, right? And that's what it did. 3. Insert G plus space, or excuse me, insert space, no, G plus space, right? No, that was right, that was right. G plus space at start for, that looked like it inserted E at start and U at end, right? And then finally this one here, which inserted an in at the start. Now, I'm pretty sure 1, and I could be wrong, so let's say, Lopadov, welcome to the stream. I hope your New Year's going well. We're playing Fool's Errand for the Commodore Amiga. So, let's click on all these. In at front, right? This one, 5, should be another in at the front, right? 4 should be insert E at start and U at the end. E at start and U at the end. That's what it did, right? Then this last one is G and a space. Now this one here, 1, when you hit it, now we can actually see what it did, because last time we hit it in the incorrect order. So it reverses the string. Weird mood? Yeah, man, that's been me all week. I definitely understand you there. I'm doing okay. Been a bit cloudy this week. Almost canceled today's stream because the idea of doing puzzles. Any party fun? No, dude, I'm way antisocial at this point, so no party for me. Pretty much just me sitting at home with my sister and her kid, getting woken up or unable to sleep due to all the fucking fireworks. You know, pretty much the normal introvert thing on New Year's. Three people's a party, though. Well, I guess then we're always partying here, because that's pretty much how we are most of the days. Okay, so this puzzle... Now, of course, they don't really tell you what it can do. Of course, we do have 2 words and a total of 6 letters, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our trusty anagram solver. Eternal party. Yeah, there you go. There you go. So we'll enter in all these letters, N-E-G, N-W-U. And of course, I already know the answer to this one right here. So with those letters, for 3-letter words, we can do new and new, which is what we're looking for, right? So the idea is that we have to hit the proper sequence to get those going, right? So at some point in time, we're going to completely reverse the sequence. So let's start off by putting the G in the space at the start, right? I think that's it. So G in at the start. So we'll do one of the ends at the start. Right. And then what do we got left? We have the reverse string, and we got... Okay, the ones we got left are reverse the string. So I'm making notes, right? I'm making notes and trying to figure it out. Now, the way the puzzle works is you have so many buttons down at the bottom, and each button does a specific thing to the string in the middle of right below the picture, right? So the idea is to figure out exactly what each button does, on top of figuring out what words it's going to have up there. Of course, you can figure out the words by using like an anagram solver. So I do have an anagram solver pulled up in Firefox, of course. And then from there, it's a matter of figuring out which sequence of button presses gets you the strings you want. And in this case, we figured out with the anagram solver that we have 2 words that sound the same that are spelt differently, new and new, right? So what we're trying to do now is we're trying to get the new and new. So what we're going to do is we need to, I think, reverse the string. Reverse the string, right? Put an E at the start and a U at the end, and then there. So that's how you solve it, right? So it's all a matter of hitting those buttons in the right order, doing the right sequences. So I'm making notes. Every time I press one button, I try and note what it actually does. However many spaces it prints is how many words it's going to have. In this case, there's only 1 space. So, and of course, that's going to open up a new puzzle, right? So it opens up the stone wall. Near a stone wall was a burly fellow who guarded 9 tall fighting staffs. I'm actually, the more I read this font, the more I'm starting to really love it, honestly. Could you tell me if this is the correct way to the Queen's palace? Inquired the fool. No, was his pert reply. I beg your pardon? The fool had to ask. No, he replied. An old new is not new, and only a new is true. The fool nodded agreeably and quickly moved on, because the guy's obviously not right in the head, right? So the stone wall's the next puzzle on this one. See what it is. Okay, so I have no idea what to do on this one. This is a completely new puzzle to me. I've yet to actually encounter this one. So somebody, as a matter of fact, I should give them a shout out. Give me a sec. Let me pull them up here so I can give that person a full shout out. So a person on my YouTube that goes by BrainSlug83 about 7 days ago put on my in the comments of one of my videos that if I go into this spot here where it has the end thing, it's also what Amiga R, it will give me hints on how to solve the puzzle. Now, of course, by the time they'd put this, since my YouTube videos lag about a week behind, I'd already figured this out. I think by the end of the one that they were watching when they made that comment, I had figured out that this gives you a decent, but not always completely thorough explanation of the puzzle. So to solve this puzzle, use the clues shown in the picture to find the correct letters, and then enter these letters into the blank boxes. To select a box, click it with the mouse, or use Enter to advance or backspace to reverse. You're supposed to read this first, right? So this gives the actual instructions to the puzzle, right? You can also use it to return to the scroll if you want to, but what it does is it gives you a description of where you are. So even if I think if I return to the scroll, does it go away? Yeah, so now I don't have one since I'm not actually in a puzzle. But any puzzle that I will be in, it will, like I can go into the Queen of Wands, go into, isn't that the one with the weird eyeball thing? No, okay. This one's a bitch too. And it'll tell me to solve this puzzle, rearrange the letters to create 3 words that read horizontal and 3 words that read vertically. The center letter is static and cannot be moved. Switch the letters, select the first letters. So it basically gives me the rules of the puzzle, right? But we're going to go back to the stone wall here. So what we have here is we have 2 3-letter words, and these are the possibilities. Now, that 3x3 looks easy. Oh my God, you think so? So let's pull that one back up now that you said that. We'll skip over to that. So here's the idea, right? There's going to be a C in the center of 2 words, right? We'll use our trusty anagram solver here. DSI-ACE. Let's see. DSI-ACE-WEN, right? So let's start off. It's all going to be 3-letter words, to which we have looks like a few dozen, right? So the first thing we're going to do with these 3-letter words is I'm going to pull all the ones out that have C in the center of the word, right? So what we have here, stream died for a little bit. Yeah, that happens. Unfortunately, my internet connection isn't that great. We're still operating off of shared cable or shared coax, right? New is probably going to be one. Maybe. Oh, how would new be one, though? So E would have to be... Oh, that could be on ice, right? So... ADS is not a word. Not that I know of, anyway. So right now... The only words that I am finding with a C in the center is ace and ice. AID. Maybe. We'll see. I'm on the eyes already. Some of these words that it's giving me, there's no way that they're going to be like gnaw. Okay, so out of all of these, yeah, ace has to be one of the center ones. So I'm not finding any other C words. So, and of course, the next thing is which directions for each of them, or does it really matter? So we know that one of them is ace and one of them is ice, right? So now we have the two words, which means we're going to have two words with an E at the end. Or wait a second. Two words with an E in the center, one word with an A in the center, and one word with a... Oh, actually... So yeah. Okay, so... We can use our anagram solver again, right? And with that anagram solver, we can round down how many words we have. So DIS, I is going to be our vowel. So DSWN, right? So with that, three-letter words, din, dis, sin, win. Dis, it came up in my anagram solver, and my guess is it's in the dictionary. So maybe sin, right? There we go. Hey, so I really hate to say it, Lapadav, you were right. So I was having a huge problem with this one. I didn't, I think last week when I was playing this, and the week before when this puzzle came up, I couldn't really, same with the other one that I was doing, the one with the numbered buttons down at the bottom. I couldn't grasp either of those puzzles because I really couldn't see a methodology to it. And one of the things that you really need to remember with these puzzles is they are designed by computer people, people who are well-versed in things like state systems and procedures and whatnot. So the idea is being able to come up with a proper procedure for how to solve them. And, you know, like you saw with that other one, I came up with one on how to solve it. So that's two of them that we've got. And I like I said, thank you. Thank you for making me go back to this, because at the time, I wasn't thinking it was all that easy. I do think there's more of them like this, too. So that opens up the wand, which I think is a 4. Is it? Where's the wand? The wand. Oh, no, it's still a 1. You know, it's funny, too, because I didn't get my computer science degree until I was in my mid-40s. And going through my computer science degree in my mid-40s, there were constantly reminders of my childhood and all the puzzle games that were coming out in the early 80s that pretty much, mimicked standard computer science puzzles. Things like slider puzzles, which are really popular in computer science because they allow you to make like a state machine to figure out how they work. The puzzle that we were just doing was kind of the same thing. That's all about state machines, right? And procedures. The first one, same thing. It's a string that is manipulated. Each manipulation is a procedure, and then of course you have each after each procedure, or before and after each procedure, which are different states of the machine. And to solve it in computer science, you would essentially make a tree, or not a tree, but a tree. That's right. Of states, and how to quickly get to the the quickest, or the correct solution. So yeah, you were definitely right on that. I was just, as usual, my ADHD-addled mind was having a huge problem as to how to process those types of puzzles, and now we got a little further here. So let me read this one. Exactly, they're simple models, and they're not unlike like chess or Go, which are also really popular in the computer world, but when you start getting into more complex problem solving, because of course a chessboard has hundreds of thousands of states, right? And you can't just readily generate every state on a chessboard to be able to solve a problem. You run, or well, back when they were initially trying to resolve it, you would run out of memory generating chessboard states, right? But these right here are simple ones. So the narrow path led him to a grassy plain, and there he saw an immense wooden staff mounted upon a stone pedestal engraved with the letter S. "Aha," the fool shouted. "The royal wand has been returned." "You are mistaken, little one," the statue replied solemnly. "Here I have stood for many generations. I am the symbol of his lordship the king." "Oh my," the fool stammered, following the path once again. "This must mean that the royal wand is even larger yet." Is that a phallic thing? He could not imagine such a thing. Sociological problems or physics simulations. Yeah. Oh, well, and of course there's a rating system for those types of problems, right? As to whether or not a computer can deal with them. So, again, a chessboard is essentially a simple state machine, correct? But the number of states that it has are prohibitive. But it's a solvable problem. There are also, unsolvable ones, obviously. And that's one of the reasons why people are like so obsessed with artificial intelligence, is because it's another problem-solving equation in a long line of problem-solving equations that we've been, making since computer science has been a thing, right? Since I think, when was the initial computer science? I think was probably initiated with the Seven Bridges dilemma. I think that's it. So there was the Seven Bridges of Kolzenberg. This is probably one of your first computer science questions. And of course, this was long before computers were a thing, right? It was thought up in 1736, and it's a tree problem. It's basically you have a tree system. You have points, you have vertices, and the idea is to figure out the solution to the problem. So that's essentially the first computer science problem. And then AI has come along, and it's created yet another algorithm that we have for resolving issues. Graph, yeah, that's what I meant. Graph theory is pretty much ingrained in computer science. That Seven Bridges is a graph theory issue. So, with AI, what AI is it's more of a probability problem than a definite state problem, right? So with most problem-solving applications, you have a start state, you have an algorithm, and you have a finish state. The idea is that it can run that algorithm over and over to make that finished state the proper state. And with AI, it doesn't work differently. It works on probability, in that you give it a start state, you give it a finish state, and if the finished state is incorrect, then you correct it and you go and you tweak the probability until it identifies that as an improper state. And the idea is that you train it on proper states by, the way I usually describe it is, it works kind of like a pachinko machine, like the thing you put the balls in and the balls hit the little bumpers and then eventually end up in a slot down at the bottom, right? The idea is that you want to make sure that those bumpers are tweaked in such a way that the ball, when given a certain situation, always falls into a specific slot at the bottom. And that's essentially how they work. A graph on a low level. So what you're doing is you're making of course. So the number of inputs on an AI graph is only limited by the machine itself, as well as the number of neural nodes that you have in it, as well as also the number of output nodes you have, right? And these output nodes work a lot like electrical signals, right? Because they're constant numbers. They're numbers that are infinitely complex. You can have and the idea is that you have some sort of threshold, just like an electrical signal, to tell you whether it's a positive reading or not. So, for example, if you get in one of your nodes from your input, if you get like a 1 in the output, you know that that's a positive, or a 0.1 is a negative, right? The pachinko machine's probably one of the best analogies that I can think of when it comes to it. Just the fact that every node in the neural net is like the little rubber bumpers, but they're tweakable, right? So you know that when the ball hits the bumper and it bounces in a specific way, and that causes an incorrect result, you go back and you adjust that bumper to make sure that it goes in another direction, right? And that's essentially how a neural net works on the most simple level that you can explain it. From there, it goes into calculus and other interesting maths. So anyway, where were we? The wand. So we need to go back to the stone wall, which was that one. This one here. Now, again, we can do our anagram solver again on this. SREJ, OPAL, right? SREJ, and then TNKF, right? And then look at 3-letter words from that, to which there's a lot. That actually might not be the best idea. So, yeah, I loved programming neural nets when we did it in advanced algorithms. It was really fun to do. I still have all my code for it too. I haven't messed with it in like 6 years, 7 years, right? I think I did my neural net in dlang. I don't know if you're familiar with the programming language dlang. Dlang is a lot like C++ if you were to like hybrid it with Python. It's really interesting. It's an awesome language. Okay, so let's see how this works here. Dlang's just a standard programming language. What it was initially meant to be, it was initially meant to be C++, and then of course it was never adapted by. Oh, you've heard of Dlang? It's a really awesome language. Like I said, it has the power of C++ and the speed C++ because it's a compiled language, right? But it has the linguistic complexity of Python, which is interesting because one of Python's stronger suits is its parser, because it has one of the most complex parsers of any language there is, which allows for a very robust vocabulary, I guess you could say. Anyway, this is Thorn with the Game Design Lexicon. We are currently playing The Fool's Errand for the Commodore Amiga, a wonderful puzzle game. I got Lapadov in here helping me get past some of these puzzles, giving me some confidence to do some of them that I wasn't really able to do earlier, which is nice. If you like our content here, make sure you give us a follow down below on Twitch, where we do stream currently Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, noon p.m. till 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. That is GMT -6. Or if you can't catch us live in front of a studio audience, you can always catch us over on the YouTubes. Just hit subscribe and the alert button and know we're coming out with new content, which is every day. You can also hit our abouts in both of these platforms to see any additional information about us, other social media platforms we occupy, as well as our schedule. I'm going to take a short musical break, and we will be back with some more Fool's Errand for the Commodore Amiga.